You know, stage fright's a funny thing. Here I am recording in front of a camera, perfectly comfortable, but the moment someone walks in the room, particularly with this one, is so embarrassing. I had to wait for everyone to leave the house. So, I took notes when I was at the airport because I knew there was no way I could possibly get the details straight. I'd mix everything up if I didn't. So I really don't mind if I just read off what I wrote. Or at least mostly read it off so I can keep everything straight. Okay. So, I traveled recently to New York to see my grandmother. It took me 2 years to save up the money and the vacation days to actually do that, and I had to fly away on Christmas Day. Why? Because no one wants to fly on Christmas Day. So the tickets are cheap, and therefore I was capable of affording them. So, Christmas Day arrives, and I didn't get much sleep the night before because I was feverishly working on an Undertale video, which I mistakenly believed I could finish before leaving. I wasn't even close. I arrive exhausted at the airport and climb into a plane. I didn't even know that they still used propellers on commercial flights. Just how old is this thing? Well, tickets were cheap, so who cares? I'm somehow on a different flight from my brother, though, because for reasons I can't even fathom, it would have been a couple $100 more for us to be on the same plane. Unfortunately, I had left my laptop behind, so it had to find its own way to New York. Otherwise, things were off to a good start. The music on my iPod randomly kicked in for takeoff. Just this perfect song. It was just the perfect music for air travel. I would find out later when writing down the notes that the track was titled "Fall into the Abyss," which might have not been the most auspicious title for air travel, but, well, what can I say? Sometimes I think my iPod has a sense of humor. Not a very good sense of humor, but just one. Okay. About 5 to 10 minutes into the flight, the flight attendants come and they offer me a terrible choice. Well, at least I made a terrible choice. Anyone who's watched my Let's Plays know I make enough of those. But before I continue, I must disclose my secret weakness. My particular weakness is something that no other human seems to have, or at least no one I've ever met. I cannot drink alcohol. Now, I don't mean that I have an allergy, nor do I mean that I can't stop drinking once started, nor do I mean that the fumes will reduce me to a stupor. I have no reason to believe that my tolerance is any worse than average. Oh no, my weakness is quite a bit more embarrassing. The stuff's icky. I'm being serious here. The fumes just make me want to gag, and the flavor of alcohol is just horrific. I've never yet found an alcoholic beverage that I can stand to put in my mouth. Anyway, let's get back to my terrible decision. I'm offered a choice of beverages. And I should mention that they did not offer soda, but they offered everything else. You know the stuff, various flavors of corn syrup and red wine. Now, my logic runs like this. I've been treating my body really shittily lately. Wine, in small doses, is good for you. Everyone says so. And then, in the back of my sleep-deprived mind, somewhere buried beneath various methods of cleaning toilets, the Japanese names of countless anime attacks, the heightened weight of various Pokemon, and all those other essential facts that I've accumulated over my life and carefully stored in heaps, my mental landscape. From underneath all of that, this half-remembered quotation chirps up. Every day, you should do something you really don't want to. So, if the time comes and you need to, you won't wuss out. I'm sure the original quote was something a little more elegant than that, but, you know. So, The steward asks, and in a moment of temporary insanity, I declare, I'll try the wine. Say it all nonchalant, like it's something I do every day. She reaches over, draws forth a cup, and fills it almost to the brim with a fairly innocuous-looking red liquid. Well, had it been anything else, I likely would have been offended at how small the cup was, but this... I take it, and, still acting all nonchalant, hold it as far away from my face as possible, lest the fumes break my resolve. Well, this time maybe it'll be different. I mean, it's not straight vodka, it's just a little wine. Lots of people enjoy wine. Yeah, this will taste good. All the time, that damned quote is buzzing around in the back of my head, doing its best Shia LaBeouf impressions. Before I have time to rethink my decision, I quickly put the cup to my lips, and without letting myself smell it, I'll pour the stuff into my mouth. Now my body, the involuntary part of me which has long since learned not to trust the part of my brain calling the shots, immediately assumes poison. And probably with good cause. I mean, I'm no expert on this sort of thing, but, in retrospect, an airline that's too cheap to offer soda. Well, what kind of swill do you think that they were passing off as wine? Perhaps there were laws preventing them from disposing of it in any other way. My body rejects this muck. But my consciousness, that jerk that's in charge of the rest of me, it won't allow that. I mean, I can't show weakness before all these people I've never seen before and never will again in my life. So the command comes down. Swallow. You don't get to breathe again until you swallow. Just do it! Finally it goes down, tracing a line of mild warmth down my throat and into my stomach. Yeah, it's not molten fire. Just a mild warmth. I'm not going to claim that this was the strong stuff, just that it was really nasty tasting. Now you would think that I would have had enough. That I'd shunt this crud out the nearest airlock. Planes have airlocks, right? But you'd be wrong. I'd started something, and now I would finish it. Surely the second sip can't be as bad as the first. That quotation, it's egging me on. Alright, let's do this! But this time will be different. This time I'll use cunning. I toss it to the back of my throat, avoiding contact with my tongue altogether. My throat closes. Damn you, survival instincts! Now it's all over my tongue and mouth, and my suffering is complete. I said you won't get to breathe until you swallow. Then that order still stands. I made it through another swallow. How much is left? Oh dear. A little over 2/3. But now there's a plot twist. The cheap swill, it gains an ally. One the stewards described as mild turbulence. No, moderate turbulence. Moderate. At times, it felt like I was an amusement park. A crappy one that doesn't do proper maintenance. At other times, it felt more like I was sitting on a washing machine with an imbalanced load that happens to tilt from side to side. Now the wine had the upper hand, and it was calling back the forces I had already thought defeated. Oh no, this can't possibly be any better coming up. This cannot be allowed to happen. I focus my entire being on keeping that heat down in my belly to keep it from climbing up the chimney. There's Anchorage. I can see the city lights. Just have to hold on a little longer. At this point, my iPod decided it was the moment for megalovania. My iPod really does have quite kind of a sense of humor about it, doesn't it? Well, anyway, continue next time. I did manage to hold in for the landing, which was good. So next time, it will be breakfast menus, actually arriving in New York, and some of my misadventures while I was in New York. Until next time and every time, this is Hadriex signing off.